Man, y'all don't understand. People ain't gonna understand. People ain't gonna understand. I'm finding the manipulation. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let me just go back here real quick. Right here. Right there. We're going to give it a moment for people to come up in here. I just got started. Appreciate the folks coming in. There we go. Yeah. We're going to crack open some lies tonight. I'm going to crack open a few lies tonight. Cracking open lies. And if there's one thing I like to do, is I like to crack open these lies. Yeah, we're going to leave that up there. Y'all see it says more. Honestus Decanus. Decanius or Decanus. What's up, Too Gracious? Thanks for liking the live stream. We're just getting started, y'all. We're gonna I'm gonna show y'all a very old book. Now, while we're waiting on people to come through, I'm gonna tell y'all what I got going on here. I've been doing research on the Geechees, right? Mm-hmm. And here is a book listed on the Daltar Island website. The De Orbe Novo on the New World by Peter Martyr. Now, this particular page mentions Datha as well as Chicora, which is South Carolina's old name. Okay? And so I've been trying to find the actual book. I'm going to show you what happens when you type in Peter Martyr in the archives when you go to try to find that book. Peter Martyr. If I'm right. You get all of these results. Now, I will lower these down because I know the book was written in 1530. But I wasn't sure which book was going to have. I don't know, but I'm going to show you. So I lowered this just down a bit to get rid of some of the more later books. And we got 34 results, right? Well, you can see the published date right here. So I was trying to go by that, but what you'll notice is Peter Martyr has a lot of different books. And really, I'm looking for Peter Martyr of the Angleria. That's the real name. But Peter Martyr would be his name in the English language, in a sense. So I was going through several of these books, trying to find the right books. Let me do this. Did I do that? Let me see if I did this. Yeah, I think I copied this whole thing when I did Peter Martyr of Angleria. No, that didn't pull up all the ones that I did earlier. It might have just been Peter Martyr that I typed in. Because I want to show y'all that there was a lot of versions. Maybe I didn't lower it. Maybe I just didn't lower it. But as you can see, I've clicked on many of these. You can see these hyperlinks that I clicked on. And so I've had many of these books. So I was going through trying to find which is the correct book. Now I was looking at the publishing date as well. But what am I getting to? Well, when I saw this book, I thought this had to be official. I did realize the book said 1587, whereas the website says that this book was published in 1530, right? But I said, you know what? I might be, because I had already pulled up one that was incorrect. I said, well, this, 1537 is close enough. And what I did, this thing is 674 pages. I literally had to click on every page until I found a page that said Chicora. And it's not in English, but off to the left-hand side, they have these little like passages. And that's how I was able to find it. But I'll show you because I bookmarked it. It took me 476 goddamn pages. I do this for the ancestors, okay? Before I couldn't control F it because it's in Latin or whatever the hell. So I literally had to do that. And when I move in here, you're going to see that I found the page that says, let me see, Chicora, right? We got Chicora in here, and we also got Datha, okay? Why is that important? Okay, because that's what was over on the Datha website. This book says Datha as well as Chicora, right? But it wasn't actually but it wasn't looking like the same format. See how this looks? And it's all yellow and it has this right here, this like chapter page thing. I went over here and well shit, this ain't really, I was like, it's the same language and it's got the words in there. So I was like, it's gotta be it, right? So I translated it. I translated it through ChatGPT and I read through the entire chapter. I actually went back to here and then so that way you get all the context. And then I went this way and went through the chapters. Now, I also did the chapter after it because the story was getting pretty interesting. And after I was done, something in me, I'm going to tell you why I knew this wasn't the right one. I knew this wasn't the right one because I went through the rest of the pages in this book and I couldn't find those words again, Datha and Chicora. So I said, okay, wait a minute. This can't be the right book. So I went back and I'm going to tell you why I knew it can't be the right book is because I had already, where the hell did it go? Oh, here it goes. I had already took a screenshot of this before I read that book and read what this says. And I can tell you, and I can show you that. I'll show you that actually. Samuel, my name in Latin is Samulus. Samulus. I've been reading so much damn Latin. I'm turning myself into a goddamn Latin nigga. Okay, where is it at? Here it is. So I took screenshots of this. Let me see where I got closer. You know what? It says 500. Whoops, I put 509. 500 tribes. Where is it at? Come on now. Let me put data. Okay, right here. Okay, so let me show you the page though. Show in photos. I hate when it does this because you don't really see it. Where is it? God damn it. Let me search it again, hell. Okay, here you can see. So it's right here. So you can see this is the screenshot that I took, right? So I took this screenshot from the website and I plugged that into Chat GPT. Now, when I read it, I remember it said Datha reigned for over 500 tribes because I was so amazed by that. Okay, there's an important reason why I'm saying this. Is because I read part of this book already that they had on the website, just this section. So when I was reading through this version right here from 1537, when I was reading through the 1537 book, I read the whole chapter and not one time did it mention 500 tribes, nor did it mention some of the other things. And so I sat here and I was like, it's the same book, but it ain't got that in there. So I went looking again. I said, let me go find the book. That's when I found the book from 1530, 7 years prior. Now, when I saw this, I started jumping for joy because I'm going to show you one thing that's pretty funny. Let me go back to where I was. I done lost my little spot. Hold up. Okay. Let me just do this like this now. Okay. So when I found it, I said, well, this looks exactly like it. In fact, the wording looks like it, right? But on top of that, there's little stains in the goddamn book. And I said, wait a minute, nigga. Is this the exact book from the website? Over here. Let me zoom out. You see that? They got the little stains on the book. I said, this is the book. Okay. So I got the right book. But the universe wanted me to read the first version from 7 years later. And I'm going to show you why. The universe said, nah, Sam, you need to read the first version. Because I want you to read the right version afterwards so you can catch these niggas. So, I'm reading. First of all, I'm reading up here. I'm about to plug this in a second. But first of all, I translated this page. Let me go up. Right here. So first off, I translated this page, okay? Now, as I'm going through this page, this is as we're talking about the Lucayan Islands, which is the Bahamas. So as I'm going through this page, the story is starting to sound familiar to me. I said, wait a minute, man. I said, well, okay, it sounds familiar, Sam, because you just kind of read these things in the other version. But I was like, but this sounds a little bit more detailed or a little different. So I kept going and I'm reading and I read. And then, I get to this thing. And so this part talks about how, and I've heard this story many times, even before this book, that there's this time where Lucas Vasquez de Alion, one of his people, or one of them other people, they pulled up to the island of the Bahamas, befriended some Indians, acted like they was their friend, acted like they was gonna have a big party on the ship. Like, hey man, come to the ship, man. We partying it. You know what I'm saying? Food, drinks, kicking it. So a bunch of Indians came to kick it with him on the boat. And when a bunch of them got piled up on the boat, they hurried up, threw the anchor on, and took off on their ass and stole them from them. And two boats took off, one wrecked and unaliving a bunch of them, and then the other boat took them to another island where they were sold into slavery. So they were some of the first slaves. But regardless of that, well, no, I take that back. YTs were the first slaves. These were the first people that got enslaved from the from the from the melanated Europeans, which we're going to get to. That's the fun part. So, okay, I read this story and I said, damn, this is sounding familiar. So then we go down to the next chapter. Well, hold on. Did it twice. Then we go down to the next page, not chapter. And I haven't read this all the way. We're going to read it all the way here tonight, but I didn't have to read it all the way first to catch their ass. Right. Whoops, past it. Right here. So I'm gonna read it to you. This part right here, and then I'm gonna tell you what I found. Especially the word more stands out. That would obviously stand out, right? And the word more I know was not in the last thing that I read. So okay, it says particularly notable among these accounts was that of a wise and learned priest called Bacularius Alarius of Castile, who wrote of these things with the honesty of a true man of religion. It says, from his letters and those of the Moor, Honitus Decanus, and from the report of the Vicar and the Inquisitor. When I saw the Inquisitor, I was already astonished by the word more. But when I saw the Inquisitor, Vicar and the Inquisitor, I said, they said the Inquisitor in the last book that I just read. And it was right after that story about the shipwreck, if I could remember. And so I read, it says of Hispaniola, I gathered this information. So I stopped there. And I said, wait a goddamn minute. And I went to my screenshots, because I screenshot all of them. I screenshot the page that I'm I always screenshot the page that I'm translating, and then I screenshot the page that I'm reading that it translates to, unless there's a page full of nothing on it. So as you can see, I have three things there. One of them is a duplicate. Both say the word the Inquisitor. One is from one book from 1537. The other is from another book from 1530. Now, before I click on them, let me tell you that I already seen in both books where they refer to some people called the Council of the Indies. Who is the Council of the Indies? They were the people appointed to send certain people back and forth to the Americas, and they during the 1500s, and they established a censorship on things going on in America on books and things of that nature. So if you came over and you wrote a book about what really was going on in America, them niggas would either change it or they would ban the book or whatever the case. Now, I've already found pictures being altered by people during that time frame, and I can show that after this. I got to look under a little thing called whitewashed. But to catch them in actual wording, changing the words in the book, that's a catch of a catch. First of all, how many people are going to read multiple books of the same exact book from so early a period, and that's 600 something goddamn pages? Not too many. You're going to read it one time and be like, I'm good, I don't need to read the other one. I read one of them, right? Well, they flood you with the bullshit books, whereas you got to go back to get the good book. Okay, so let's go in. So this was the 1537 book. Okay? it talks about the ship above, but then it says here, of those two ships, one was said to have shipwrecked. So I said, see, I knew that story was right after the goddamn shipwreck story. And it says, and have sunk and rather whatever. We ain't gonna read that part. But they was talking about the shipwreck, despair and difficulty smothered the justice. And then it says, I learned the particulars of this affair from a learned, truthful priest called Bacularius Altericus de Castro. Now he says de Castro. They say de Castile. But the same guy, right? This being the original version. All right. And of a man of good letters, upright morals, and sound judgment, who was then the vicar and inquisitor in Hispaniola, right? Didn't I say I saw the words vicar and inquisitor right here, right there, right? Right? But what's missing? What's missing here? And bore the beautiful witness of the events. What's fucking missing? The goddamn more. That's what's missing. Who wrote them out? Who took them out? I got literal fucking proof from the 1500s of people erasing black people out of the literature. Do y'all realize how deep I be on this shit, man? Uncovering lies? Who out here uncovering these lies? Some people are. Everybody else are too, you know. You got your greats out there, you know. Your signs of the conscious mind, Los. You got your Copper. You got your C3B out there, you know. You got your Route Rashads and others. I ain't the only one. But still, I got literal proof. And literally, look, I can do this too. So let me do this. First, let's make sure that we see the word more in the actual document itself. It should be somewhere at the top. Let's just take a look until we find it. Vicar. I see something that says something about vicar. So let's see. Bacularius, whatever. What's that dude's name? Mortum. Isa, Iteria, Immortum, Hontanus, Decanus. Right there. Right there. Mortum. Now we know what a Moor is, how a Moor is spelled in goddamn Latin. Let me screenshot that, because mortum hanticus haneskiscus whatever decanius should be in this other goddamn book. He should be. We know it's not gonna be, but I gotta take a screenshot of it to show that too. Now that I got it, let's see. Let me find that Inquisitor one. Where is it at? And now, and look, I wasn't even in the book that long before I found that shit, man. So as I go through the rest of this chapter, I know I'm gonna see more, because that it was telling me let me say this, and I haven't reached that, so maybe y'all can read. Maybe we'll reach it together. But in this version right here, let me see if I can find it too. But I'm gonna tell you, okay, this is that one. Let me highlight this first, or actually, let me find the. That's it. Yeah, this is the page. Well, I'm not gonna find more on there because obviously, but let me find Bacularius de Castro. Let me find Castro on this bitch. And that I mean, it's like, what can I do with this? I don't know. It's going on a goddamn documentary. I know that goddamn much. Castro, right there. Castro Edici. So let me highlight that. And let me tell y'all what else I was about to say. Okay, so now basically back to back, I got both pages saved, basically showing, hey, this is the 1537 book, and right next to old whatever his name was, Del Castillo, they're missing Mr. Morum. They hunting whatever the name is, and I got the actual what you call it. Like they can't. These people can't. These people play games, man. So let me tell you why I was getting excited. Okay, so in this version, on one of these pages from 1537, they described King Datha. But when they described him, they said he was described as tall, white skin, white with hair down to his whatever. I sat there and said, "Get the fuck out of here!" In my head. Now this is before I found them taking away the more out of the book, right? So I already knew them niggas was lying to me. As I was reading, what's up, nigga? Just seen you join in. Gotta say what's up to nigga. Say you can't even read it, Zippy. I can't read it. Well, how about you read the Block Zone? There you go. You can go read over there. All right, he's gone. Documentaries, facts. Yep. Let's see if I missed anything else up in here for you folks. All right, I gotta give Nikki a stop hating on the guys, man. SMH. You might be talking about somebody, but okay. So, Nikki, let me tell you what I found. And for anybody just now getting up in here. So let's go through a quick recap. Again, and when I go through this, I expect to find the lies about what King Dathar really looked like. And that's gonna be really explosive because boy, okay, so Dathar Island really refers to King Datha. King Datha was a Kusabo Indian chief, king really, over there where the Geechees are. Say you find all the Jews, right? And so I was looking for this book, right? Now you might have been some of y'all was on online when I had translated this part. And I had translated this part of the book, so I knew partly of what this was talking about. And but I went to go look for the actual book. Now, when I went to go look for the book, there's lots of different versions of it. Now, I was looking by the oldest dates, but for some reason in my head, I knew it was in the 1530s, and but I wasn't really like sure, like whatever. And I want to say that I clicked on a 1531, but it was in English, and I was like, that's not right. It's got to be in Latin or whatever, or Spanish or Paleo Spanish. So I ended up going back and I found a 1537 version. And so I thought, let me show y'all that version. Show y'all what it looked like too. This shit's so official. They got the damn book. They said, man, let me show you a screenshot of the book. Nigga. Like you gotta see how deep I'm digging in this bitch, okay? I'm digging deep in the crates. All right. And so I said, surely this has got to be old enough. And especially when I opened it up and I saw that it was in a Latin, or it's either Latin or Paleo Spanish, whatever. And so I was like, okay, I got to be on the right path. I was like, but it don't look the same as this book over here. It don't look the same, but I literally I can't control F on these books either. Okay. So just so y'all know how much I love y'all and the ancestors, 674 pages. I had to click through 674 goddamn pages of this motherfucking book before I finally found page 479. Okay, 473. That's how you know a nigga was going in. Okay. And you can't, it ain't like I can read this bitch. But I'm gonna tell you what I was looking for. At least I knew that on this side there's these little bullet points in a sense. And I knew that the bullet points actually has said the word Chicora or something on there. But you know what? Oh yeah, right there. Datha. See that word Datha? Now over here, and I remember doing it too. I came over here and I was like, okay, well, that says Datha right there. He said, "You for real? You had to tell? I damn sure did." And he said, and this one said Datha right here. What's up, Mocha? If I read that right, yeah, Mocha. What's happening? Halito. And so you see Datha right there, and you see Chicora, right? And so I was like, well, there's Datha, there's Chicora, Chicoria, okay, Chicorinus, all right. So I was like, okay, well, this has got to be at least it. You know, it's in the language, it's talking about it. It don't look the same. So I went back a couple pages, started from right here, translated it to about 3 pages past. And I sat there and I was like, the story was kind of compelling, but certain things was rubbing me the wrong way about it. I felt like it was lying about, like when they said that King Datha was a white person, pretty much. And so I sat there and I was like, man, something about this ain't right. So I was like, man, let me just make sure I can't find a or actual book that looks like what this looks like. And eventually I did, just to kind of jump to it. This one's from 1530. The other one is from 1587. Actually, this is quite a bit afterwards. Damn near 50 years after that bitch. 57 years. I thought it was just 7 years apart. But okay, so here you had. So I was like, okay, well, this actually, I noticed that the way that this script looks and the yellow color, I said, this has got to be it. It took me a minute to find this page again, because you can't just go through that bitch. But I'll tell you what I did. I noticed this right here, that Titarium part, and basically I expanded the book out. I'll do it with this one instead of, I expanded the book out like that.
I'm Tim Talk like Mule.
Whoops. I expanded the book out like that, and I kept scrolling until I saw the Catapult Titarium. It was multiple of them because it was multiple volumes of the book, so I realized that. But long story short, I found the page eventually. Okay, it's the same exact page saying Datha Chicora, right? So let's just jump to why I'm saying all of this and what I just revealed to them, and then we're gonna move forward. We're trying to see what we can find, if we can get these niggas caught up. So I started to read the new one. Let me go to the new one, and then I'll show you the old one. So I started to read right here, the new one, because I had already read the old one. Now, as I was reading above the new one, the page prior to this page, it was talking about a shipwreck. And the shipwreck actually is a story that I've heard in many different books. And it's a one where basically the Spaniards pulled up to the Bahamas, acting like they was going to befriend a bunch of Indians, threw a party on the boat. A bunch of Indians came on the boat. They trapped them on the boat, hurried up, and pulled up the anchors and took off. One of the boats crashed, unaliving a bunch of people. The other boat took them to be slaves in in Hispaniola, the other island, where they was mining for gold or working either for other things. So I had heard that story many times through these books. And I love when I hear the same stories and stuff. That lets me know how good I am on my motherfucking research. Yeah, it is pretty sad. I think about it too. And I was thinking about it too. Like, man, because it talked about how they had children and women separated from their families. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, ain't that a bitch, man? Whole ass niggas, y'all niggas be acting like, y'all don't care about what happened. Or really, look, the whole FBA thing, and I appreciate you nigga going hard on in the motherfucking chat earlier this morning. That I remember. On the panel that I was on, you know what I'm saying? Cause I really had to keep it, respectful. But I was just like, look, nah, y'all don't. With all due respect, they don't understand how much we've been shut out we've been talked about, we've been whatever from the FBA folks. But not all of them. I got because I will say this on Twitter. I didn't realize it, but I got a lot of FBAs that follow me. A lot of them. Actually about to hit 2,000 followers finally here pretty soon. Said I had to do it. And I know how it is. Yeah, yeah. Now I'm about to hit 2,000. I was looking at some of my like most the people that are like interactive with me over there the most besides like Nikki. I love when she interacts. And definitely I got a bunch of Indians that interact with me. Don't get me wrong. A lot of our Indians do. But I also got a bunch of FBAs that just always sharing, always commenting, always throwing out stuff, So I fuck with them, but some of them need to get their motherfucking mind right. But okay, so let's get to this. Some of y'all might have seen it, but you may not have. We're just going to go through this first paragraph. So again, this is the new book. No, the older book. I'm sorry, it's from 1530 after I've read the earlier or the later book. Now it says, particularly noting among these accounts was the wise and learned priest called Bacularius, Alarius, whatever, of Castile, and I started to recognize that name. And it said, who wrote of these things with the honesty of a true man of religion. It says, from his letters and those of the more Hanitus Decanius, and from the report of Vicar the Inquisitor. And when it said the Vicar the Inquisitor, I knew I was on the right thing because I looked up, I literally did this and did a lookup of what the hell a vicar meant. And a vicar is a representative of a duty of a Roman bishop, or whatever. So, and I did the same thing for inquisitor. So of course, when I seen it again, I'm just like, huh? But then of course, I'm also looking at this more thing. And I was saying, wait a minute, dude. Wait a damn minute. They done cut the damn more out. So this is the page, right? Talking about Bacularius, Hilarius of Castile, Vicar the Inquisitor, right? Well, when you go over here on the other one, this is the paragraph. I learned the particulars of this affair from a learned, truthful priest called Bacularius Alores de Castro instead of Castile. It says, a man of good letters, upright moral and sound judgment, who was then Vicar the Inquisitor in Hispaniola and were faithful witnesses. They literally wrote the more out the book. To catch that shit is insane to me. They damn sure switched it up. And I'm going to tell you how I knew something was going to be lied to me. Is because when I was reading the old version, and I'm sure in this new version also, they talked about the Council of the Indies. They said Lucas Vasquez de Alian, which is a famous voyager, and I've had some of his book, most of it. But you can't believe him because I didn't know that in this book, it says he was an agent to the Council of the Indies. But I did know that the Council of the Indies purposely sent which voyagers they wanted to send from Spain out there. So what you have is you have Spain going out, and many of them sometimes lying about what they see. But the French was going out too, is what I'm noticing. The French was telling a lot of truth. I think Peter Martyr might be French. De Angleria. No, Peter Martyr de Angleria. De Angleria is of Angleria. Of Angularia is Angularia. What is Angularia? That is the original name of England. Angularia is Angolan, England, what you call today. Peter Martyr came from England and wrote this book and talked about the Moor when he wrote it. But whoever came from wherever and rewrote it, likely from the Council of the Indies, whatever, So what? Oh, and I was gonna say too, that's why you got things like Louis Corus, who is a French explorer, who drew black Indians in California, whereas the Spaniards a lot of times sometimes didn't. They shit was censored and edited by the Council of the Indies. Okay, and let me show y'all that. Let me show y'all that because I got that receipt right here. Council of the Indies should pull up. Yep. Right here. It's all over the damn page. Let me get it off. Okay. All right. Okay. So this comes from a book. I can't remember. I'd have to pull it up. I'll show you though. And it says, at this distance of time, when the state of the world is so different from what it was in the 1500s. I'll say that instead of that. Some people don't get the centuries thing. The world was so different from what it was in the 1500s. It may not, and I think this book was written in like the early 1800s, maybe 1820s, 1830s. So, I mean, that's a distance of quite a bit of distance of time, right? So it says, so it may be at this distance of time when the state of the world is so different from what it used to be in the 1500s, it may not be readily conceivable how easy it was for the Council of the Indies, through the power vested in it, of permitting and prohibiting the general circulation of all writings relative to where? America, to keep the rest of Europe in a state of darkness respecting the history of the new continent. Well, it can't be new if you have to erase this shit, right? That's just kind of crazy. It's gonna be new when you're to them people when you've erased it, but let's keep going. For 300 years, let me not say centuries for those who don't get the centuries. For 300 years, those who successfully composed that council, the Council of the Indies, exercise their functions as censors with the greatest vigilance. If powerful patronage or inadvertence on their part suffered, in the first instance, any obnoxious work to appear in print, it was sure soon to be recalled. What does that say? If something was found to be printed and out there and they seen it, oh, it's getting recalled and being sent back, depending on what you want to write, right? It says, thus, the history of the Indies by Gomara, which is a explorer, dedicated to Charles V and the conquest of Mexico, by the same author, dedicated to Don Martin Cortez, son of the celebrated conqueror, became prohibited books soon after their publication. But there were other works against which a silent war was raised against Spain. Now, this book continues to go on to talk about the Council of the Indies even more, and how they basically didn't want you to write anything about these people being the H's and the J's, you know what I'm saying? Because that's what this book was pretty much about. Oh yeah, the book was called The 10 Tribes of Israel and the North American Indians, I believe is the name of the book. The 10 Tribes of Israel and the North American Indians. So they didn't want you to know that they was the 10 tribes, right? So the Council of the Indies are the ones who likely sent Christopher Columbus, the ones who likely sent all these other explorers one by one to rewrite history. And they were told in many cases not to write about the civilized things they see. If you get there and you see big cities and stone giant buildings and all that, don't talk about that stuff. Talk about them rural country niggas out there that are kind of primitive, even though some people came here and talked otherwise. So they tried to do and hold back all the stories, but you got, and that's why I'm so happy that I found what I found, because it makes this that much more of a dope ass receipt, because now we have some people who we can prove they're not. Look, we can also prove that they switched out the drawings in the books. So if I go up under here under my whitewash series, but now knowing we can say show that they took out the black folks in the book, word wise they done took the more out. Yeah, man, yeah, they playing games. They playing games. Where's it at? Oh, it's on my phone. Hold up. Uh, what you say, Nikki? Let me look down here. He said someone just told me on a post that the Native Americans were part of the 10 tribes that literally right before you join. Oh yeah, see that's synchronicity right there. And I was the American Indian. I wish I had this source. Man, yeah, yeah. I got many sources for for that source too, about us being the Jews, because everybody was saying it. All the explorers were saying, "Look at these men. They do this stuff just like the Jays, and they be out here doing this and this and this, and it's just like the Jays." Or a dude would land there and be like, "Man, look, I landed here, and these people look like the Jays." We're like, "Okay, I wasn't even looking for this, but here it goes." Okay, but we also got proof in that they changed the drawings. So like when I said I used to think that this was Spanish, but somebody pointed out to me, they were like, "Nah, boss, that's French." I was like, "Oh, that's French." And the French drew the Indian like this. All right. But when the English redid the book, they plopped a head on them. Now, many of y'all have seen this, but they plopped a head on them. But now I'm making the connection to which voyagers were the right voyagers, because Lewis Corus came over here and drew the Miwok Indians like that, right? Whereas later, people playing games, they redrew them like this. But Lewis Chorus is also French. So now I'm thinking it was the Spaniards for real that was bullshit on that bullshit. And then eventually also the English got on the bullshit. Peter Martyr says he's from the Angleria, but to be honest, if I look into the history of Peter Martyr, he could have he may have been from England, and that's close to French right there. But he could have, took went on a voyage with a French voyage. So what I'm getting to is I'm thinking that the Council of the Indies didn't really have their grip as much with censoring the books and things coming from the French and maybe other places as well. So that just gives me another place to think to look, because I also just started looking in the French archives. And for those who was on here last night, y'all seen it. But this is, whoops, my bad. This is Gallica, which is a French, and you can see the URL. It's a French website. Okay, .fr is France. And this is where I found a bunch of maps in their archives. And you can see that they have maps showing the Indians and what they look like easily, right? Even down here, you got one right there, bam, right? Many different ones. Questionable other things, but mostly they just some Indians, okay? And these are from the French. And you even got lions. They're telling the truth about everything. And to have lions on here, that means there must have been a whole lot of goddamn lions. Now I just added that to my whole lion series. Is that in here? Yeah, right here. Where I have a whole set of receipts just showing that there's lions. But even in the book that I was reading today, it says that King Datha went around wearing, where is it at? I just saved one from today. Right here. But yeah, so from the book that I'm just reading to today, they had on people delighted with the rich and precious clothes, such as they had never before seen, for they covered themselves only partly with the skins of lions and other beasts. Now, how come lions wasn't included with the other beasts? They felt like they needed to let you know that they seen lions. It was lions in Memphis. I bet it was. And I bet they just put them in the zoo and said that they came from Africa. These niggas been lying. Because when you look up, watch. I haven't looked it up, maybe or maybe not. Let's see. Are there lions in America? It literally says, no, there are no wild lions in America today, as the Native American lion went extinct 10,000 years ago. Well, how the hell can somebody see it in the 1500s? But y'all saying, and multiple people said they seen it. I got to do a video on this, man, just because I did one long ago. Let me just screenshot that. But, that'll be a good little content, especially now that I got like a three or four more receipts. But when you come over here, not only did the Germans paint it when they said, and they painted melanated people next to it, they said we got to get rid of both of these, the niggas and the lions. Okay, both of y'all niggas came from Africa. Gone. Yeah, they gone. We never know. These people, they've been extinct, and these niggas came from Africa. Yeah, we got stories for everything. But in Germany, they've kept this thing alive. Well, on top of that, when you read the book called A Brief and True Relation of the Discovery of North in the North part of Virginia, you'll go in here and you got a page down here. It says the beasts best known in this country are stags, does, deer, goats or coats, leopards, something, lucerne, divers, lost something, wolves, wild doggers, hares, conigers, and certain, it's on the next page, and certain kinds of beasts that differeth little from the lion. Okay? So that's in Virginia. Okay? But we'll come to this book. I don't know how these people seeing all these damn lions everywhere, right? And this is talking about North Carolina, just south of Virginia, right? In 1709, okay? And even here, they say, hey, the beast of the Carolinas are water rats, whatever, foxes, and lions. Okay? And then you got that. And then you come over here, and this is another one where they say, where is it at? Right here. The prominent, and this is a different book. I got to figure out which book this one is. L'Amour des Savages. I got to find out which book this is. I'm sure I got it in here. But it says, the prominent among them carry on their backs a small patch that contains their pipe, their tobacco, their flint, and other small objects. They have the skill to make a kind of cloak with tan skins of bears, beavers, otters, squirrels, wolves, lions, and other animals. Okay? Can I screenshot it? Oh yeah, yeah. Y'all can screenshot whatever, man. Take all this stuff. Hit people with the motherfucking facts. Yeah, yeah, yeah. My bad. And I know I'll be having my hand all in the way, but yeah, feel free to get your screenshot on anytime on my live streams. I damn sure don't care for sure, for sure. And then I think that might have been the book, or maybe this is the book that I'm about to. That might have been the book for what I just translated, and that might be where I translated. Okay, it is because this is the more current one, and this is where they talk about the one I showed y'all where he wore lions, yeah, and the skin of lions. Let me delete this one. Oh my bad, I went fast. You can screenshot that if you want to. I'll do that. Screenshot that. 3, 2, 1. If you want that, screenshot that. 3, 2, 1. If you wanted that, screenshot that. 3, 2, 1. And that's, these are different. You would have to put them in Chat GPT, but I already did for you. There's the book for one of those books. Library of and that's in the Library of Congress. These niggas know that there's goddamn lions. You can screenshot that. And there's another translation from one of these books. You can screenshot that. And then damn sure you want to get that. And there's several more of these where the Germans painted with lions. I need to go get the other ones. Then this is the other book. Shows the lions right there, literally in the Carolinas. And then this is the book for that. If you want to go find that book there. This is the page that talk about the lion. If you want to get that. I hope y'all on the screenshot frenzy, my bad. Because I know I'm going fast. And then there's the other part of that page so you can get the context of what it was. And there's the book that it comes from. And that book's from 1602. So I done had y'all in the 1500s and the 1600s tonight, all right? And a little 1700s are definitely on the frenzy. Yeah, you can anytime somebody says something about a lion, you might just bring it up on their ass too on purpose. I bet you think the lions is just African, huh? Just to draw their ass in. Of course it is. All right, nigga, put me on the big screen. Draw them niggas in, nigga, and slap them with the facts. Oh, man. And look, man. Oh, and get you this. Go, and I need to add that to it. Get you a screenshot of the French map that I got with the lion on it. I need to add that to the motherfucking whatchamacallit anyway. Where you at? Where you at? Right here. You can get a screenshot of this map. As I do. Well, no, I'm not going to screenshot it. I'm just going to add it to the album. Lions. And there you go if you want to get the screenshot. So yeah, that's a good one right there too. But it's literally on the map. No, lions ain't been here since 10,000 years ago. What you mean? Well, why did they draw it on the map? They just be playing. French didn't know what they were talking about. They were just playing, telling stories. Nigga, don't nobody spend all that money putting niggas on boats, learning and drawing up goddamn motherfucking cartography maps, measuring this shit out and all this other shit, labeling all these locations and all this other shit, and then they draw a line on the map like, let me just play around. Let me just draw some lines right here. In my whimsical mind. Fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? That's what they want you to motherfucking believe. Okay? No, nigga. And this is in the French Archives website today. Okay? Them niggas know what the fuck is going on. That's crazy. If I was to go to some people in French and be like, did y'all know there was lines over there? Yeah, you didn't know? Damn, man, what they be teaching y'all in school? Shit. They teach white people are 100% right on everything they put in books in the 2000s and 1900s. Just don't go reading back further than that. You know, you get to reading back further than that, they gonna look stupid. And it makes everybody look stupid, to be honest with you. I'm talking, well, we're about to get back to it, but I'm rolling up another good one. So I'm giving a little dialogue as I roll this up. But that's what they want, you know. You go past them older years, you go past 1850, you're already gonna start uncovering stuff. You can still find some books in the late 1800s and early 1900s that'll blow you away sometimes too, because there's people out there that was trying to tell the truth. They just want to tell what they saw, whether they was white. Most of them are still white. Said I had Egyptian friends who knew we were American Indian. And that's amazing. I've seen some people on a video out there, and they might have been in Egypt. It was this one girl. She was like skinny, short hair or whatever, got a little tats, but she was out there and she was like, man, y'all, he knows who we are. He was like, yeah, you're an American Indian. And when I saw it, I was like, he likely does, but I said that could be the other part. Them niggas be on here trying to get games started with you. You know, they could be getting in the game through us and repeating it. And I don't care how they know, as long as they know. But no, I believe they probably know. They probably do know for real, because I believe people in Germany would know. And I'm gonna tell you why people in Germany would know, because the allegory of the continents. Let me show y'all who don't know. I got the website saved. Now there was a book. I'll show you first. There was a book that I have saved. I have 3 volumes of it saved. It used to be 8 volumes. Right here. Allegory of the continents. They know in Egypt before ever talking to us. I could believe it, which is crazy, because then they probably know we the real Egyptians on top of that, to be honest. Or they may not know that far, but they at least know we the Indians. Peace, honey, peace. So this is allegory of the continents. What up, Chris, in the port? What's happening? One of my faithfuls. So this is allegory of the continents, right? And this book is all nothing but paintings in Germany. And let me show you. All of these paintings were done during these times. Now there's 8 books. Now I only got 3 of them, but now they're on the internet. And I'm gonna go to the internet. But before they wasn't on the internet. And not the book. The book is not on the internet. They've digitized this entire catalog, and that's even more crazy and even more dope, because that shows that Germans know exactly what's going on. Okay, and these paintings were done during these years. And why is these years important? Well, the only kind of black person they should be drawing, if they draw a black person in America during these years, should be shackled from a boat, right? Yeah, they removed the what's up, Big Gucci? Yeah, they removed the books, but they did it for a good reason, and I'm gonna show you. So this, and actually I'm about to go to it, but you could go through here, and that would actually show you the like the Indians. That one isn't as labeled as good, but this one is gonna show that that's the American right there. Europe, America, Africa, Asia. Europe, America, Africa, Asia. Now, when I was looking at all of these, and these are historically correct from what some of the voyagers say, with the pearls and how they look, the color of cooked metlers and this and that and the third. But and the cotton mantle, he's holding a cotton mantle or a cotton cloth. And there's many of these. These are like in churches. Here's another one that's in a church. on the motherfucking pulpit. So that's why I said they gotta know, because these things are in their church. Every single one of these, I think every single one of these are in a church of some type. And I was like, so, and it says America right there. And the parrot. Christopher Columbus brought back 10 parrots with him. That's so many things I know now that I've read these books and I look at these things. And there's the cotton mantles. He talked about that. Christopher Columbus talked about the cotton mantles. So did De Soto and them, and I think some other people. Put the pearls, De Soto and them, and everybody talked about all the pearls that was here. And there they go wearing all the pearls, and the feathers. This is what they described the Indians looking like. And here it is visually. And what am I about to say? Oh, and it's in their churches. Like, these niggas just gotta look up and they can see the shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's America sitting over in their motherfucking face as they pray. Okay, so they definitely know. You know, look up the palace of April's Memphis. I'm gonna have to check into that. Look up Palace of April's Memphis. Huh. Mm. But let me show y'all the website that they've put it on now and why that's very important. More important than the book. Whoops, that's not it. Mm. So many things I be saving. God damn. Should be. No, I did that one. Or did I? No, that's Gallica. That's the French archives. Damn it. It was before that. Hold up. Dude, where you at? Oh, here it is. Goodness. I done what? You gotta do that to visit the web? Wow. Look, I didn't have to do that before to get to the website. They're trying to make it seem like the website is some kind of Russian thing or a German thing, or I don't know. Hmm. All I know is I didn't have to do that before, and I almost thought I couldn't get in that bitch. Yeah, y'all can, if you screenshot that top part, this will take you, and just Google that top part. It'll take you to this website on the Google search results. Because it's in German, you can't read none of it, pretty much. But when you get there, you want to click on this index and this allegorian for the allegory of the continents. And now when you get there, it's literally the allegory of the continents. Now I'm gonna take you to one that's I know is gonna show. They all do, but one that's easy. So this will show this. Now when you get here, you got some listed with little numbers on it. Now if you click the ones with the numbers on it, it's gonna show you the people being labeled with dots. So how do we know that this dude is an American versus this person and that whatever, right? How do we know? You tap the dot, and they have conveniently put America on that bitch. Now, why is that so dope? Under American influence now. Now, why is that so dope? Said the World Cemetery of Memphis, another good book. Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to check into those. But why is that so important? That means that a German person within the last 2 years, a German team, not just a person, went around, regathered up all real pictures of every single one of these, uploaded them into a system, and when they pointed at this melanated person and put a dot on them, they had to type in the word America. Okay? As if they didn't know what the fuck that is. Right? And every American in this book or in this website is melanated. Let me get off of this. How do I go back? Or I just go back. Every one of them that they show is melanated, and there's tons of pages because I don't even know what the last page is. Excuse me. But each one that you go to, I haven't seen this one. Let me see. They're gonna have these things listed. Let's see. Now this one I haven't seen before. Let me get closer. Whether or not this one will have, it should have America. Let's see. Tap on the little bullets. Now that's Zeus. Oh, wait a minute. Look at that over there. What is that? Oh, that's Africa. Where's America? America. Let's go look. And that's the one that was on there. And I could tell by the red, white, and goddamn blue. Let me go back. Let's go look at that one directly. It had a close up. This is your fucking Americans right here, y'all. That's the Americans. Now that's the first one you can almost say that resemble a little bit because they got the straight hair. That's the only one I've seen, but they're still not a Siberian phenotype. They look like mulattoes with straight hair. One of them has straight hair. Now I have a receipt that I just got from this old book from the 1500s that says that these people have some people have mulattoes, look like mulattoes, that have straight hair and white features, but with black skin. And they said that some people were black that had that had woolly hair. So as you can see, this is really kind of cool because I had up until now in the allegory of the continents, none of these people look this light. Most of them don't look that light. And I'm gonna show you. We'll just click on like that one right here. Let's see, 13, 10, 9. Let's see, that might show which one. There's dots everywhere. Oh, these are talking about those sculptures. I want to see the sculptures. What about this? That's what I was looking at. Okay, right there. Which one is America? Asian. Get off of that. This thing be tripping. America right there. Now, if I can, now I got to zoom in. Oh. There's your America. Let me get close. They don't put a dot on his head. His hair is woolly, but let's move out, see if they got another one where without a dot on them. Now that we know. Okay, yeah, here's the actual photo. Now look at this one. Now this is unmistakable. Right? Unmistakable. They got the pearls. They got the red, white, and blue on the motherfucking feathers. Hold on 1 second. Look at my phone real quick. Sunday at 8. Cool. Okay. Yeah, there's no mistaking that. Curly hair, exactly. She said look South American, exactly. You know what I'm saying? Could be any of us, South or North. So, when I say that they depicted, most of the ones that they depict on this website look like this. Most of the ones they depict, man, I appreciate the likes, man. Y'all got a 31,000 likes, man. I appreciate that. I don't even be asking, but I appreciate y'all tapping the screen and all that good stuff, man. But look at this, man. This is what they try to hide from us. Because we have never seen images like these. And had we seen images like these as kids long ago, man, it would have changed our view on a lot of things, you know? It's pretty sad. It's pretty damn sad. But I'm pretty empowered to be able to and excited to be in part of the generations that are literally turning history back and really, busting up these lies. Like, the sky's the limit, really, from here. Once we've established in everybody's mind, like who we really are, and it's gonna take a little bit of time. Because there's going to be ramifications for these goddamn lies. I'm going to tell you that right now. There's going to be ramifications. Niggas ain't finna just lie and change our goddamn history up and we not figure something out on these hoes. Like, nah, even if there wasn't no slavery, even if all that was a lie, nigga, y'all done erased the shit, nigga, for a while. So, nope, you ain't getting off scot-free, goddammit. Mm-mm. Okay, this one's not being too agreeable. I haven't been to this one, but I'm not gonna keep going through these. We're gonna move on to this one. I can tell. We're gonna move on to another subject. Now, one of these is America, one of these is Africa. They look sometimes the same. Sometimes they'll draw them somewhat similar. A lot of times, the African would be the darker colored one. That's usually the case, and you can kind of see the shade difference between that one and that one right there. So I bet that's the American. Let me just double check though, make sure I ain't tripping. America right there. See, that's the American. That's just the African trying to cosplay. That's all that is. They've always tried to do it. Y'all ain't got no pearls. Broke niggas ain't got no pearls. See, y'all got the single pearls. We got the double pearls on the wrist, motherfucker. And we got the pearls in all around. And we got the bow and arrows ready to get your motherfucking ass if you act up, all right? You take that dusty hair on somewhere, okay? It ain't the same as the hair we got going over here. I'm just playing. But we do got the motherfucker. But she's got the cotton mantle with the skins of of an animal, as we've read. Um, the pearls and the obvious features. Look at that, man. Let me get in close. Look at that, man. Gorgeous. Man, is that a feather hanging off her ear? Hold on. I want to go down. I swear this website is kind of whack. Oh no. That's the design from the what you call it. I thought she had a little feather hanging down right there. But yeah, like enchanting. Like these are the type of people, yeah, with the arrows too. These are the type of people, the way that they draw them in Germany, they look like they could be adorned, not adorned, but like living in those in the white and in the we seen that one. In these Capitol buildings and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like these aren't your primitive Indians. And how come they didn't draw none of them primitively? And also, how come they never once drew a light skinned Siberian, a slanty eyed looking or Spaniard looking so called native. They never once did it. There's Africa. This website needs to be. Maybe it's just trying to do this through this. I ain't gonna trip, but it's like I can't really click and then click another thing. Damn it. Asian. I think I had tried to do that one before, but yeah, there's so many of these because there's so many pages to be honest. But you're gonna get the same thing. Like that's gonna be that's gonna be your. I didn't mean to do that. That's gonna be your Indian right there. I can already tell. With the hair and the feathers and the cotton mantle over one arm with one arm exposed. That was even written, okay? They said they would have one arm exposed and one it would just kind of draped over one arm. And like, man, like there's no way these people don't know our history as much as they read into the history books. I wonder is that us? Let me look at that one. Oh. Hold up. It's gotta be that one. But let me just make sure. These places are marvelous, dude. My bad if I ain't looking down. These places are marvelous. That's the only word I can think of when I look at the motherfuckers. Oh, the little dots right there. Europa. America. There's America. So I was wrong. Ooh, I want to see that. That's that one. Okay. That's this one. Yo. And the hair is not necessarily, it's like you see the wavy pattern in it, in the hair. Like almost like it was, some water was applied. When you apply water to our hair or a little bit of gel type shit. Now one may think the color is a little bit whatever, but those eyes are just too wide to be the little slinty eyed fuck boys that be trying to impersonate us, and all that shit. That one, but that one that's still pretty crazy. Let me see. Now this shit got me wanting to go because I haven't seen all of these. I've seen some of the. I've seen three full volumes of the book. I want to go look some more at those sculptures, but let's see if I can tell which one is America. I bet that's America, right? No, I bet this is America right here. I bet that's America right there. I could be wrong. Yeah, I could be wrong. I don't know. It's the way that person drew it. 15? I'm not trying to click through 15 and 20 fucking bubbles. My bad, y'all. I would, but goddamn, y'all see how hard it is clicking on one of them bitches. I think I've seen this one before. I'm like, yeah, I'm not about to click on all them hoes. Not that one. This one right here. Okay, right there. I think that's your American right there. No, yeah, Africa and America right there. We'll zoom in on it. There's your Americans with a lion, or that could be a lion, or that could be something else. It's hard to kind of tell. Let me zoom in. So there's your American, there's your African. You can kind of tell because they got the little mad elephant looking shit. Y'all need to treat y'all elephants better. They wouldn't look so mad. You know what? How come the elephants just look alive and finding something to eat? You know? The elephants is over there eating, nigga. How come y'all be starving so much? Let me shut up, man. Let me get off these niggas, man. What the elephants eat? What do elephants eat? Shit. Anyways, but yeah, these are your Americans right there. Um, there's no mistaking that phenotype and the hair. So as you can see, they drew them in different ways, but they all about the same. A copper colored person with either straight or woolly hair, um, with feathers and pearls and all that other stuff. This is one that don't have the pearls. He must be rural. But yeah. So I'm about to get back to the. Oh, let me show you that one. That's a pretty cool one. I do know this one. There's your American right there. That's so much dope because it's a goddamn afro. hmm Pearls on point. You know what I'm saying? Everything on point. Cotton mantle draped over one shoulder exposed. You got to look at all the nuanced clues. Everybody didn't draw it that way, paint it that way for a reason for it to not be there. They could have easily put the whole mantle across all of them. But they always, in most cases, not always, most cases, they would make it that way for us. Whereas if I'm not right, or unless there's, let me just make sure because maybe that's the American. Let me click on the bubbles. I was wrong. This is your American. That's your African. I be getting them mixed up sometimes, but that's what they do too. You know what I'm saying? And actually, this one's stunned even more. She's got the double. And I should have knew this. She got the goddamn double motherfucking. Get off of there. Let me do this. She's got the double motherfucking pearls versus her with the single pearls, and they you don't really see them all the time with the double pearls, but it really just kind of depends. But that's them right there. Okay, look at the gold fringes with the gold pipe on the motherfucker. Okay, like that's some shit that's some high class ass shit. You know what I'm saying? With the motherfucking gown or whatever you call. I don't know what the name of y'all motherfucking a shirt, whatever. But so with the feather dress, with the feather whatever, she got the golden scepter in one arm, the bow and arrow ready to. And that's another thing. Another thing to know. Is we kept weapons on us in every photo, in every one. Like they ain't got no weapon. Okay? They ain't got none. She just over here lackadaisical holding the scepter. La 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 la. I'm white, I'm white, I'm white. Right? Uh and I don't know where Asia at. But we always are drawn with them things on us. So yeah, man. I hope y'all, I hope I opened y'all's eyes who haven't seen some shit like this before. And if you want to, take a screenshot of that, and you can Google that, and it will take you to the website. Click on index at the top and click Allegorian, and you'll get where you need to get. So now we're gonna go back to the book because I know everybody we don't know where we was at. We're actually gonna do a little bit of reading from ChatGPT. That this passage where I stopped from, where they talked about how the more. So those who just got in here, let me just show you real fast. I am reading two books. The same book, De Nordbo Orbis or whatever. by Peter Martyr de Angleria. Now, this is from 1530. This is the original one, okay? I found it out later, but this is the 1587 version, so it's still really, really old, right? Still written in a similar format. Still old. But I had read this first because hell, for whatever reason, I thought it was the right one without getting all into it. I thought this was the right one. It was in the right language, but it didn't look the same. And the reason why I was going after this book is because it was on this website, Data Island, which has to do with the Geechee area. And King Data was a Kusabo Indian king without getting all into it. So as I was reading, and just to show y'all how old this book is, let me see. Well, no, that's not this one's pretty old. Actually, no, this is the older one. So yeah, this is damn sure old. But I'm gonna show you why I thought that this was the right one. Because when I saw this, this shit right here, I was like, oh nigga, this has gotta be it. Nigga, this motherfucker old in a bitch. You know what I'm saying? I was like, yeah, this gotta be the right one. Hold on, man. What's up with the yeah, look, it even showed a little side thing, side view and shit. Right? So going through both, I had read that one first. Then when I came back to read the other one, because I realized it was the older version and I was reading the same passages, I noticed that there were some changes. And right here, you got a man named the Moor Decanus, Hornitus Decanus or whatever. But there's a dude back, Hilarious de Castile, the vicar and the inquisitor of Hispaniola. Now, when I was reading this, I remember reading it in the newer version, where it is over here. Right here. Now, this version, I learned the particulars from a man, whatever priest called Bacillarius Alaterus de Castro instead of Castile, a man of good letters, upright, moral, and sound judgment, who was the vicar and inquisitor of Hispaniola, and who bore the faithful witness of the events with great frankness. So notice what I found. I found them literally removing the more from the motherfucking, where is it at? Right here. The more from the book. Literal erasure I found between two 1,500 books. One for 1530, the other one 1587. And I that right there automatically shows the heinous activity of the Council of the Indies, who, because they mentioned the Council of the Indies in here, who was the people who were going around censoring books. And so when you delete something out of a book, you're censoring, you're editing, okay? And I found the edit. Now, I found edits of illustrations in the past, like some of the drawings of how they drew the Indians in books. But to find an actual literature where they changed it up and then they actually took the black person out, that on top of it is like mind-blowing. So I'm going to continue reading real quick this passage, and we'll see, because what I want to find, and we'll see if I find it on here, is because when I was reading the old version, it was saying how King Datha looked, Chicorians. So we're going to get to it likely. Where is it at? Okay, this is where I left off. So when I was reading that, excuse me, it said that King Datha shows how detailed they were with the racial. Yes, very much so. And whitewashing is nothing new. Yes, but it's so crazy because most of the books that were out there were probably gonna have the more taken out. So they, you don't even think that they flood the market with books that are rewritten yet the original is still there sometimes, and and sometimes the original is a fucked up view because it was sent and written by the people who started this, but like some things will make it through, like we were talking about earlier. The French books by the French would typically make it through and show the truth about the Indians and shit. So like, but things coming from Spain was a different story. Hold on, y'all. Let me look at my phone real quick. Uh-oh. Hold on. Let me ask somebody if they can take a job real quick. My bad. I got a customer that just booked. Let me see. And when they book late, especially on a night like tonight, these niggas, some of my detailers, them niggas ain't even gonna see this message. Them niggas are gonna be out on some Halloween party, come home fucked up, and it ain't even gonna. They ain't gonna see this. They gonna hit me with a text about halfway in the morning. I mean, in the afternoon tomorrow. My bad, boss. I'm just not seeing it. I know, nigga. I know. Let me see. Would you like to do this 8 a.m. in the morning? Question mark. Let me send it to both of them niggas. You never know. I might get lucky. Do you want this 8 a.m. for tomorrow? Question mark. Okay. All right. Okay, so now that we know that they've taken him out, when I was thinking about how they described King Datha as a white person in the last book, they said he was tall and white, and his hair went down to his something. And I sat there and I was like, really, dude? So now I'm already kind of excited because I've already found that they were lying about this. So let's read and see what we find. It says also Pliny, in describing Taprobane, Celion, whatever, said, cool, never mind. Okay, thanks, boss. Exclamation point. I was wrong. Niggas took it. All right. Says the island of Claudius Caesar established a principate, and that Roman fame extended even to the king who was named Rachias. From him came ambassadors with presents for the emperor, and I, though uncertain whether to believe this or not, have nevertheless found it true that there were found among these new peoples men of gigantic stature. So we know we're talking about the same thing, who confessed that they had once lived in Hispaniola, but had now withdrawn, weary of Spanish oppression, to more distant lands. They say that the thing is, these people, when they were on those islands, they were trapped. If you get a bunch of Spaniards coming in from many different sides and French coming from another side and whatever the case, I mean, the only way you can do is just leave and come to the mainland. You know what I'm saying? And there's only so much space you got to do things and stuff. So it's kind of fucked up, how they did the islands. That's why, I grow more, even though, when I hear one of the island people talking that coon shit, I still, am pretty harsh on them because, nigga, you need to learn some shit. It's all good, boss, comma. Appreciate you. Chino ticket. Another funny thing is one of my detailers, his name is Chino, or they say they call him Chino, that ain't his name. And he's a Mexican, but he looks like a Chinese person. And Chino literally means a Chinese Mexican. They call them Chinos. But, whatever, you know what I'm saying? I just live here. I don't, I just live here. Shit. These people coming over here with all these funny things they like to do. Okay. So let's keep reading. So men of gigantic stature who confess that they once lived in Hispaniola. Okay, we said more distant lands. They say that on the islands of Bacalios, whatever, 6 years before this, men from England under Cabot had been there. And I read some of Cabot's book. I didn't read much of it, but I did read a little bit. I may need to go read more. And that those Baculayos or whatever, they had long since extended their navigation to other nearby lands, both islands and mainland, which they believed were under the same parallel as Andalusia or the Canaries. The regions are temperate. The mild winters and few days of intervening cold, many of the islands stretch far into the sea, and the principal ones are called Chicora and Duhare. So what we're talking about and what islands he's talking about right now, let me show y'all. So those that don't know where we're at on the map, Chicora is the original name of the area of South Carolina, North Carolina. So we're talking about all these little mini islands that go along this coast. And as you come close, you will see where they at. All these little mini islands. St. Philip's Island, Pritchard's Island, Fripp Island, whatever. And then these would be where your Geechees and shit would be at, somewhere up here. They usually up here by Sapelo Sound, over up in here, north of, I want to say north of Charleston or somewhere. Sapelo Sound, somewhere around here. But basically, this is the area we're looking at, right around here, in the 1500s. So what were they doing in that area in the 1500s? That's why I came to this book. These areas were called Chicora and Duhare. Now, I need to look up that Duhare. Definitely need to look that up. The people of Chicora say that their complexion is fair and their manners resemble ours. The women are very beautiful and modest. The men grow long hair bound with fillets. Bound with fillets? What's a fillet? Oh, with bones. Fish bones. And the women shorter hair, neat and well arranged. They are naked of clothing, but not of nature, for they are modest and cleanly. One thing I've noticed is they said they were a fair complexion. They didn't say white. Now, in the other book, they said, but they were talking about King Datha. They didn't even mention the people and what their complexion was in there. But for King Datha, they said he was white. So we're going to see if they say what they say about King Datha when they get to Datha. But right here, they're saying that these people complexions are fair. Like, I would be fair. You know what I'm saying? Or some people lighter. I would say, really, I wouldn't say I'm fair. I'd say the people lighter than me that are fair. Like, I'll show you my mom and my mom's sister. I'll show you my mom and my mom's sister because I just seen it. Same parents. That's my mother, even though my skin color is this, and really I need to turn my light on. You see how light it is. But her sister is this, okay? And they come, I don't have a picture of my grandpa right here, but this is my grandma right there. And I'm the same color as my grandma, pretty much. But she even had a brother. That was my Uncle Tommy. nigga is so super duper. Now look, if you seen this nigga coming down the street at nighttime, wouldn't you say, God damn, you is black, right? So for people thinking that people wouldn't utilize the word black as an adjective for some people to describe them, I would challenge them to look at my Uncle Tommy, okay? and tell me if they wouldn't think that about him. Now, yeah, when you see this person, you're not gonna say black. You're gonna say, nah, she's, a little copper skin, little honey hazel, whatever the fuck, with her, you'd probably call her not chocolate, you know what I'm saying, but a little brown skin, you know what I'm saying, just your normal brown skin, right? But these are all siblings. That's my Aunt Dorothy, brown skin compared to my grandma, all right? But my Uncle Tommy, oh yeah, he took all the melanin out the womb, okay? He took all the melanin out the womb before they were born, because I think he was the oldest. So yeah, but my mom and them come out looking like that. My sister is my mom's complexion. Me and my brother are my complexion, which is still darker than her, my aunt. So, but also when you look at this, when they drew us, like when Lewis Corus drew us in California in the 1822, he also drew an array of colors, right? An array of hairstyles, right? That nigga hair is super kept up. Okay? An array of things, right? An array of colors and all that. So we are who our ancestors was. We match the descriptions 100%. And we about to keep reading down this thing. We're gonna keep reading down this thing. My bad, I'm getting a little congested. It'll go away. As I re-roll another, because I'm chilling for the night. It's 10:44. I didn't know that. Whatever. We got to get through this right here. So we talking about the Chicorans. Where did I stop off at? Body art. No, I didn't get that far. Spanish. The people. Oh, right here. The Canaries. Where they said something about complexion is fair. Okay, here we go. They naked as a dog. Okay, they naked as a dog of the clothing, but not of nature. For they are modest and cleanly. Okay, like we are. They are mild and sociable, and in the use of medicine, both natural and by art, they are exceedingly skilled. They pluck the hairs of their body after the fashion of the Teniste nation, the natives of the Antilles. Though not all, they are pleased to display their tongue and delight in smooth speech. They quickly learn from the strangers who converse with them. Among them are found those of no small authority, such as certain Lucas Vasquez de Alian, a Toledan, a man of senatorial rank, and others of Hispaniola's Council of the Indies, who having fitted out two, and they the ones that changed the book. Oh, you writing about us, nigga? Okay, let me see that book. Okay, let me. These niggas is corrupt. But who, having fitted out two large ships at their own cost, were sent as deputies of our affairs in the Indies from Hispaniola to petition for a license to return to those lands with the purpose of founding a colony there. From among the Chicorans who were captured, they brought one to Hispaniola, a youth about 15 years old, that's sad, who been instructed in the faith. He'd been baptized by the Jesus. Was baptized. They said it right there after that. I said that before already. Was baptized and called Franciscus. Oh yeah, this is Francisco Chicora. He's gonna take it. So I didn't know he was 15 years old. I've heard the story about him many times. I didn't know he was 15 years old when this happened. That's crazy. Okay. And from the name of the country received the surname Chicorinus. While the business of the colony was delayed, I often saw and spoke with Franciscus Chicorinus, who was intelligent and not unskilled in speech, though clumsy in tongue, as the all Spaniards say of them. This alien, after obtaining license from the voyage, he had to obtain a license for his voyage, y'all. Who was he getting the license from? The Council of the Indies. And what was the Council of the Indies doing? Censoring things. Let me make sure I screenshot all this shit. Okay. This alien, after obtaining license for the voyage, equipped his fleet and returned to those regions, taking Franciscus with him as an interpreter. Remember they would say they had brought interpreters? So now we have who one of those interpreters was. They took one of us from Chicora area, possibly the Geechee area. Not possibly, that's where Chicora is. And it's brought him back, baptized his ass and all that. 15 years old though. So at 15 years old, you know, but they say they are healthy and their air is clear and wholesome. They sow maize. They're talking about the Chicorans. They sow maize, the grain that the islanders call myzium. Myzium. It's I don't know why they wrote it like that, but like millet in Italy. And another legume, almost like peas of various kinds, equal in size to our beans. They also cultivate another grain called jabi, which they say is equal to millet, though I think it is a kind of panicum, a type of grass seed, or some other grain unknown to us. They also eat batatas, sweet roots, which grow beneath the soil and are excellent to the taste, not unlike our chestnuts. That's your sweet potatoes. They have domestic animals, deers, wild boars, hares, and birds of all kinds, which they take in snares and with arrows. They also keep fowl and know the art of making bread from the grain of maize and from roots. Their houses are built with wooden frames, thatched with grasses or palm leaves, and raised above the ground of the high platforms lest food reach them. They live pleasantly, free from care, content from the modest livelihood. Now, let me say this. As I'm reading this, I'm knowing that they're talking about the more primitive Indian, right? And so I also know that they're under the God, they're there under the permission, likely, of the Council of the Indies. Or if they're not associated with it, they're very close to the people as they talk about them and how, whatever. So what I'm thinking is, yeah, they're telling the truth about a lot of things, but they're only telling us the view of the rural kind of Indians, possibly. We're going to see. Because they're going to talk about King Data, so maybe not, but we're going to see. But still, like all the old world stuff that was here, I still believe was here. All those buildings and shit that's art, I still believe that. So when I read these things, especially when I know they're coming under the Council of the Indies, and let me show y'all this. Just so y'all know, this is a pretty amazing news report that's more current times that'll make you be like, okay, these people know that something's up. Um, where you at? Where you at? Right here. This will give me a little time to. The Bureau of Ethnology at the Smithsonian Institute, he said this. Artifacts found prior to Christopher Columbus's arrival would be considered illegitimate by the Smithsonian. Only the savage Indian culture would be observed, and this created the artificial barrier to science. Did you get that? Got like in Gaddy's voice. Did you get that? Let's listen to that again, and I'll explain it. Of the Bureau of Ethnology at the Smithsonian Institute, he said this. Is the Smithsonian Institute a part of the Council of the Indies modern day? But let's keep going. Artifacts found prior to Christopher Columbus's arrival would be considered illegitimate by the Smithsonian. Only the savage Indian culture would be observed, and this created the artificial barrier to science. Only the savage. Science was colluding with government because of commerce, and religion was involved. Now, why do I tell you all this stuff? Not because I'm in... Congress was in cahoots with science, or the Council of the Indies, or people that deal with ethnology, anthropology, and different things, as well as archaeology. And he said for commerce and religion for sure, because Council of the Indies, conquistadors, they had all kind of bishops or whatever the fuck, this, that, and the third. But notice, they all in cahoots. Notice they said articles found before Christopher Columbus's arrival. So if you dig and you find something that says, hey man, I date this thing back to AD BC 500. They're not gonna accept it in the motherfucking archives or in a museum. Okay, and on top of that, unless it's the savage Indian being talked about. They only want to know about the savage Indian. That's why I said that about this book. Because this book is going through the eyes of Mr. Peter D'Angleria, and he's talking about the Lucas Vasquez, the Aliens, and these people. But it's almost like he landed over there in the Geechee area where it's all marshy and swampy and shit. And that's where he decides to do his research, or he was sent to do research there and report on what's there. You go further inland, you're going to see nice ass buildings, stone buildings, all these other things. But that's not the case. So this is the kind of brain, like the kind of mindset, I think, because I know how these people are. Like, listen to this. I'll let you hear this. I want to go to you and talk to you a little bit about, again, the stock. George Washington had a good relationship. Our founders had a good relationship with the Native Americans, right?
There's no question about that. When they came to America, they realized they could not survive without a close relationship with the Indian people. The greatest story, for example, is the Pilgrims who were blown off course. 800 miles out of their destination in Virginia, they're in Massachusetts. They land on ground, and they're in the middle of nowhere, no government. They make the Mayflower Compact, so they have government when they land. And there's no Native Americans there because a plague had gone through, but one person shows up. He happens to be a Native American that knew English. He'd actually been taken captive to England. He'd learned English. He'd gotten his freedom. He came back, his people were gone. The white settlers are there all of a sudden, and he meets them and he says, welcome. He speaks English.
So let me say this. Now that we've read this story, he straight lying. And I knew he was lying back in the day. I said, wait a minute. You mean to tell me on an off chance these white folks landed on a random spot on the whole East Coast, and when they got there, some random nigga Indian that had been somehow taken to Spain and come back, learn the language, done went out or whatever. I guess this nigga was just wandering through the woods that day, like, let me just come see if any niggas is shipwrecked out in this bitch. Wow. There's some niggas shipwrecked out in this bitch. Y'all need some help? Oh, you speak English? Well, what a coincidence, man. Out of all the people who could have showed up. Okay. Okay. I'm going to tell you, and really, I don't know where he pulling that story from. Because I'm like, don't get me wrong. Some people did get taken, like we just read. Francisco Chicora. I've read it multiple times where he was taken to Spain and brought back, baptized or whatever. But also Tomo Chichi. There's a dude named Chief Tomo Chichi. He might have been a chief. I got a book or something that I read about him, and I watched some videos about him. He apparently was taken over there along with some other Indians, but they said that he was taken there to. I wonder if I could pull that up. I wonder if I got that on this bitch. They were saying he was taken there to yeah, I do got some shit on him. Taken there to help build some shit over there. Let's see. Remark Tomochichi. He was the chief of the Yamakras. I didn't know that. The Yamakras was over there in the Geechee area too. Let's see. When you come back to shit that you ain't been in a while, I did not know that. He was in that area. Somebody was asking me. Somebody either in the comment or in my DM was asking me, do you know Tomo Chichi or was in that area? Now that I see it was Yamakra, yep. Yamakra was in there with the Yamasee, a small tribe who occupied the banks of the Savannah River. So we know we're talking about them. We're in the same area. Near where the city now stands. When I first read this, I didn't know where the fucking Savannah River was. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I was not even paying no attention to this shit. He was taken by Governor Oglethorpe, and I know about Governor Oglethorpe, to England and assisted the whites materially in founding their colony. Okay, he was taken to England and assisted the whites in founding their colony. So he was. What do you mean? He was taken to England, right? And y'all needed him to help you found a colony. Let me see what else I got on that bitch. There is a statue of. No, that's not a statue of him. That's Oglethorpe. Fuck Oglethorpe. Yamasi War. So yeah. Let's see. Tomo Chico. This is what I had read too before. Two adjacent sites in Indian occupancy which of particular historical and archaeological interest are located on the Savannah River at Pipesmaker Creek, a few miles west of the seaport city of Savannah, Georgia. There stood New Yamakra, the town. There was a place called New Yamakra. I didn't know that. The town which Tomochichi Miko of the Yamakras, a branch of the Creek Nation. I didn't know there was a branch of the Creek Nation. So Yamakras, Shawnees, Uchis. Well, Uchis was part of the Creek Nation too. So they got grouped in with the Creeks. That's crazy. Built and moved his people to in 1735, 2 years after the founding at Savannah of the English colony in Georgia. There stood and yet still standing a large earth mound called Irene, built centuries before Tomochichi's time by the Aboriginal inhabitants of the New Yamakra, and upon which in 1735 Reverend John Wesley, the founder of the Methodism, built an Indian mission schoolhouse which was conducted one of the associates, some Monrovia. Maybe I didn't take down the page that I'm thinking of in my head.
Conventional wisdom for years and years and years has been
That's that
this
mound.
kind of truncated pyramid that's covered in vines was the monument that Oglethorpe had erected to Tomochichi's honor and memory, with this urn and what looked like some maybe palm fronds in it or something like that. And so for the longest time, everybody believed that that was the monument, and that it was there until it was destroyed to make room for the monument that's in Wright Square today, which is the monument to William Washington Gordon I, the founder of the Central of Georgia Railroad and the bringer of a lot of...
I think they destroyed it. But yeah, I'm gonna have to look back into that. Let's go back to this. I gotta finish this for sure. Wooden frames, blah blah blah. They are acquainted with luxury and the vices that come with it. They have no letters, but preserve ancient traditions by song handed down from their forefathers. And I've said this, Now, people did right. I hate when they keep saying that, but whatever. But on top of that, like, think about this. You're not building no big stone building, old world building, and not writing something down. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna do this shit off the top of my head. Oh, that shit turned out perfect. Okay. Yeah, that's how it works. And don't get me wrong, maybe they was some super godlike niggas, but either way, what I was gonna say is the preserving ancient traditions and songs. Now, I can see that, because when you think about songs, and I got a video about this. Let me just show y'all real quick. Keep it interesting. Why not? So you got this video of this old lady. She can't hardly remember a whole lot. But one thing she can remember, and remember word for word, is a song.
But I enjoyed school.
I want to hear the little poem up there. What short one?
Indian children.
Tell them the poem about the Indian children.
Oh, where we walked to school each day, Indian children used to play. All about our native land, where the shops and houses stand. Here the trees were very tall, and there was no streets at all. Not a church, not a steeple, all the woods and Indian people. I can't remember it all.
Go ahead on.
Does she remember Indians here?
Were you around Indians when you grew up?
Well, no, I didn't see them.
But your grandfather was an Indian. Your grandfather was Indian. Remember? That's her parents.
He was born Indian.
No, these are her parents.
Okay.
Papa and
That's my dad.
These are her parents.
So yeah,
That's my mom.
one, it's amazing to see something like that, man. Ancestors sitting here remembering and telling us stories, and she remembered her grandpa. So she was already old. So her grandpa, talking about he was Indian, and that goes back. That's at least what, depending on what her age was, that could put it back, probably early 1800s, mid 18. Well, it could be late 1800s, mid 1800s, depends. But that's still pretty far back of remembering, and saying he part Indian. Nah, he was Indian. That's that whole indoctrination. Amor, Erica, Indios. I don't know, KOD, combating terrorism. So what I was getting to is how it just said we preserve things in song. I hate that it loses the spot every time I come out. It ain't gotta do that, man. Keep me in the spot. Right here. Okay. Is because just think about how many songs you know word for word. Like literally. As soon as the first sound or melody or tune comes on, you can recite that bitch from beginning to end in some cases. You've never written it down. You've never studied it and sat there and just like, okay, I gotta remember this song. Let me look at this. Let me figure this out. Okay. Let me remind okay, you remind me of my Jeep. I wanna ride it. Something like my sounds, I wanna bump. Girl, you look just like my car. Mm. So, you never really have to do that. You know what I'm saying? You really just can just remember things. And I sat there and said, dude, like, if we had like the history of the world, like the creation story, maybe within encompassed into like 20 songs. You know what I'm saying? Like that shit would be dope. And we could remember it and we could pass that down, literally. You know what I'm saying? Right now we just passing down bullshit. We dancing to it and it's cool. I love it. I'm bumping it every day. But it ain't getting me nowhere. It ain't getting us nowhere. Saying now for flat tires, I want to ride. They own movie companies. For real. Mm. So yeah, been like, I've been move forward, but I can at least believe that portion. I do believe we wrote shit down though. They celebrate their feast with dances and music, delighting in rhythmic movement and agility of body. We know who that is. Rhythmic movement. Who got rhythm? They are neither fierce nor treacherous, but gentle and teachable. Find me a group of motherfucking natives that have rhythm. Now, that somebody would look at them and man, look at their rhythm. Nigga, them niggas is stomping the ground randomly and screaming. They sound like they need assistance. Can somebody help them? I think they need help. That's what I would think if I was walking by that motherfucker and I just heard that shit. Are they being massacred, nigga? What's going on? It's a powwow. Oh, okay. Okay. All right, let me get out of this shit. They celebrate the festival's dance music. Okay. The Spaniards report that the king of Duhare is a man of great stature, of gigantic height, and that he alone and his queen surpasses others greatly in size. Now, this is going to get crazy. We're going to see what they say, but I just want to preface this to say, in the book before this, so I'm really curious how they're going to explain it. But in the book before this, they said the way these people became giants was artificially done to them. And they explained the process, saying that when they're infants, they said it's one of two processes that they do. One is they would apply herbs to the arms and legs of the body of the infant. Or that's idea. I think it was herbs first, and then after the herbs have been absorbed, basically from what it is, what's in the herbs, they would place some hot or warm wax, something waxy or something, until it made the bones pliable. And they said that they would roll and turn and kind of stretch the arms and legs. But they said they do this to very much pain to the infant. And then and they said then the woman would then wrap her breast with herbs and feed milk to the baby, in which the milk would absorb the herbs, which gave more nutrients to heal from that particular day's worth of bone stretching. And then they said that they would do the shit over and over and over again until eventually you become a giant. Or well, till eventually they don't have to do it no more as a, I guess, a toddler, or as a baby. But at some point, it turns you into a goddamn giant. And then they said that it was either that, or they said that they heard of a lesser method where during the infant stage they introduce a powerful concoction of herbs that are suited directly into uh, growing the body at that early age rapidly. And they said that they banned everybody else from being able to utilize those herbs except for new kings coming in or whatever, because they said that only a king should be able to have people look up to them. So that was what they said. So that's the story. I'm surprised. I ain't surprised. I remember that. I'll be remembering shit because I was pretty interested in that. I was like, really? But also that book was lying like a motherfucker. So we about to see what this book says, because that book done took out the niggas too. So let's see what this book saying that didn't take out the nigga about, if or even if they mention it at all. They may not even mention it. They just may say it was gigantic hype people. But let's see. It says the Spaniards report of King Duarte, a man of great stature, of giant height, and that he alone and his queen surpasses others in great size, neither of them shorter than giants of 3 cubits and a span. I wonder what 3 cubits. How long is 3 cubits? No, cubits. Up to 6'3", 4.5 to 6. It says this is approximately. So 6 foot. Oh, my bad, y'all. 3 cubits. But he said 3 to 4 cubits, didn't he? So 4 cubits. I think he did. We'll see when I go back to it. Would be 6 to 8 feet. Did he say 4 cubits? Neither of them shorter than giants of 3 cubits and a span. He didn't say 4, but there's a span in there. So I'd say somewhere around 6'3", about a basketball player. You know what I'm saying? About a basketball player. Them is your giants. They're carried around. Let's see. They are carried around about on the shoulders of others, and I've heard this many times, because of the sacred majesty of their persons. Their nobles are likewise born of men's shoulders when they go abroad, a sign of royal dignity. So nobles, there's I know the hierarchy of the Indians. I read it in another book. I probably can pull up the what you call it, but I ain't gonna do it. But it says that the hierarchy goes I might need to pull this shit up while I'm bullshitting. Nobles, men of rank, something. Nobles, put an S on there. It might be on my phone. It might be on my phone. But basically, it's like they like one thing under it. It's like men, like I think it's kings, nobles, men of rank, stinkers or low class. So like high class are your king or your CKs, your chiefs. Nobles would be right up under them. So King Duharde is the king, and his nobles would be his men up under him, and they're also being carried around on men's shoulders, as well as the king to show their royal dignity. I just been having to break shit down. My bad, y'all. They have heard of tame deer like our flock of sheep, and they make garments of the soft hair of those wild beasts. They also cultivate a kind of cotton, white and fine as ours, from which they weave delicate cloths. They are abundant in food, especially fruits, roots, and grains, and enjoy a healthy climate. They have no poisons, no venomous creatures, and live to a green old age, dying peacefully of natural causes. Their soil is rich, their rivers clear, their air serene. They are a strong and robust race, and women share a labor equally with the men. They cook that 50-50. They cook, not just playing. They cook their foods with care and eat temperately. They use drinks made from various fruits, sometimes slightly fermented, but never in excess. They know not drunkenness, nor the quarrels that arise from it. That's crazy because they try to say in one other area, but I think that was down in Mexico where them niggas was drinking. But let's keep going. Their king is held in high reverence, and the people obey him as a father. They live like They live according to natural law. Now, we're talking about the South Carolina area, for those who don't know and remember, before it was called South Carolina. Harming no one, the Geechee area. Harming no one, generous and hospitable to strangers. They exchange gifts freely and rejoice in visitors. I don't know why I'm so damn congested. Let me turn the AC on. God damn. I'm congested as hell. I'm still reading this shit. Why did I miss a lockbox? Who was calling me from the lockbox? Hold on. Was that you? Question mark. It must have been an accident, dude. Okay. I'm gonna get back on it. Alright. Make sure my phone ain't on vibrate. I don't know why the hell I didn't get no damn call. Okay. The king is held in reverence, natural law. Okay, the manners are simple. And they live the lives pure, uncorrupt by greed. In short, this people of Chicora and their neighbors of Duhare and others appears to me the most civilized and gentle of all discovered nations, and the lands the most pleasant and healthful of all. Now, of course, they haven't been across the whole lands yet. They ain't even been across much of Florida at this time. But, from what he's seen so far in 1530, which by that time he'd only see this and the voyage of a few other voyages. Let me go grab another page of the book. I hope I don't lose my damn spot. Oh, okay, here it is. Well, shit, what page did I... Okay, I know how to tell. I'm trying to remember what page because I've been just yapping and yapping. Okay, the Septendicalius, whatever the hell page. That page, I believe. Well, no, it says that on that page too, so I gotta look a little deeper than that. Hold up. Chicora, something like that. That's the word. Chicora. Okay, yeah. So this is the one we was talking about, the Chicorians and all of that. Okay, all right. Well, let me get this one right here. Now this is literally what I be doing, y'all. So y'all, yeah, shit. For those who wanted to stay for the long haul, I'm just gonna be going through this book for a little bit. I also want to watch a video because really, I'm doing this for the Geechee information, like the Geechee documentary. This is really Geechee, the research for that. So I'm trying to debunk multiple things. I'm trying to figure out the past, how deep I can dig into it, what was going on in Chicora, who was all there, what all were the tribal names that was there, what all did the voyagers say about the people there prior to 1750, mostly in the 1500s and the 1600s. And then I'm also at the same time trying to watch some modern day like documentaries and shit that I'm rewatching one. Now that I know all that I know, I was like, I gotta rewatch this one documentary in order to see what I missed, right? From one thing to now that I know what I know, and so like, but that's like some modern day kind of debunking of like some shit from the 1960s. So but it's all needed, like everything needs to come down with all these goddamn lies, and I got to cover all bases. So let's see. Okay, here we go. Give me just a second. Let me get a little something to drink. I'm damn my damn mouth is dry as hell. All this damn gassing up. Let's go back. We read Latin or Spanish or something. Fuck. Franciscos de Cornus. Call me Samulus. Samulus Halicohelius. Okay. Now that I'm on this Latin shit, call me that. Okay. The batatas. Now that's the batatas are the sweet potatoes. I done seen it so many times now. Whoops. Hold up. Okay. The batatas are edible roots like our radishes, carrots, parsnips, turnips, and beets. They are wholesome and abundant. Among the first of their native foods, the regions are numerous, ruled by many princes under one king. Okay. Hita, Jamunabe, and the Inha are priests. They were sacred vestments. I thought they were going to be tribal names. Distinctive to their order and are venerated by the people of neighboring lands. The inhabitants, my bad. A little snack. The inhabitants begin to feel the first chill of the year when the pendulous fruits of certain trees, heavy with ripeness, hang beneath the weight of their own burden. when as the same time for death among mortals approaches, or when they are about to go to war. Dang, man. Not dang, man, but that's good, but 12 o'clock tomorrow. People up late as hell booking. Oh, okay. Mm, when there's a time for death and mortals approaches, or whatever, sacrifice, it's about to go to war. They go to the neighboring fields, offering prayers and sacrifices for success and peace. When the battle is about to be joined, they sit upon the ground, and with their faces uplifted, they invoke the heavens. When their priests have sprinkled them with water, they believe that ceremony to be complete, and then they go forth joyfully to fight. In battle, they strike bravely, and if they unalive, they think it is shameful to be left unburied. That was my last bite, I promise. They strive to bury the bodies of their dead and the enemies alike. They do not eat human flesh. Okay? Yet they sometimes take captives in war and sacrifice them, offering their hearts to the sun and burying their bodies. That's what's up. If you're going to sacrifice somebody, sacrifice them hoes that came up and you had to take out. But nobody's eating nobody. Let me take a screenshot of that, because somebody was trying to say that. One of them Africans was trying to say the natives was eating people and shit. Like them. Hell no. They think that those who die in battle go to heaven and are happy there. And they make prayers for them with tears and hymns. They have no written letters, but preserve the memory of antiquity and song handed down from their ancestors. They celebrate their festivals with music and dancing and circular motion and are skillful in art. They wear ornaments of feathers, and the richer are adorned with jewels of bones and shells. They are more civilized than the islanders and wear clothing of soft skins. They call a certain kind of cotton cloth boham, which they wear over their shoulders, hanging down to their knees, over the shoulders. They also use the fiber of certain herbs, of which they make thread like are flax or hemp, and from this they make cordage. They also have a region called Inzuiguan, whatever, and from this region they say once came the tailed man, Gentes Cauditas. I heard about this in the other book. We'll see what they say. People with tails. It says brought by the sea to the shores, men with great height and form, with tails not flexible like those of a quadruped, but solid and immovable, and extending into the spine as in the crocodile. And when they sat down, they used seats pierced through so that their tails might hang free. Yeah, they really described this shit. They lived for a time near that shore, but when their numbers dwindled, they were destroyed. Their bones are still shown, very large and nearly entire. The natives say these people were of a strange race, unlike other known, and that they left no descendants, and they were of great stature and had been brought thither by the waves of the sea, that have been left among the present people many ceremonies of rites, which they still perform as their ancestors did. Now think about this, y'all. Said Gentiles, is that what it is? What's up, Tabitha? How y'all doing? How you doing? So think about this, because I was thinking about it earlier when I read it in the other book. But like, shit, I was gonna eat stuff, but there's something sitting right here next to me. But like, could these people, like, it's like, okay, could this just be something that nature had made? God, some creature God had made, some human-like thing with a tail. Now we've seen YT folks with tails, right? Some of us. Uh, but these were huge, according to them. So then I started thinking, like, these evolved from fish? And I was like, nah, I don't really see that. You don't see no fish evolve into no goddamn humans or vice versa like that. So then I was like, you know what? What if it was like them gene splicing early and making like little fucked up creatures? And you know, these motherfuckers done got unleashed into the damn ocean and showed up. Motherfucking shores. And their numbers probably dwindled down because who's trying to fuck a nigga with a motherfucking tail? Down to the motherfucking ground. Nigga can't even sit down. Some of y'all nasty niggas will probably fuck a woman like that. Some of y'all nasty niggas will do that. I don't give a damn how big the titties is. If you got a tail, it's over. That's a deal breaker for me. I don't give a damn. I draw my line at animal orifices, nigga. I draw all my lines right there. That's what they was doing. Even the liger goes back to the 1800s. I didn't even know the lion and the tiger mix. All right, I'm putting those down. So I don't know. I don't really know, but that's their claim. It says they have no temples. Instead, they worship their kings. Yeah, I'm still looking for Data, but they worship their kings, houses as temples. I mean, oh, here it is. Right there. Of course, it says, of the customs, we will give one example. In the province of Duhare, we have said that there was a gigantic king named Datha. In this place, and the reason why this is kind of important, Datha is where the Geechees are. There's a Datha Island, and Queen Quet of the Geechees said to her dad, and Dalta Kusabo Indian. So that's why this is important. In his palace, his palace was built of stone. I wonder what that stone palace looked like. Let me screenshot that. I think it said it in the other one too, and I probably screenshot that too. But what kind of stone palace do you think he got? What's up, Meta? Appreciate the gifts. Appreciate you coming in. I really wonder what kind of stone palace, and they call it a palace. Is that one of those state capital old world buildings? No. Well, let's keep going. where the other houses are of wood, covered with straw or herbs, and kept images of boys and girls of about 3 years old, and these they call by one word in Harmari. Images of boys and girls about 3 years old. The reason why I'm looking at that like that is because in the newer book, it just said they kept images. And they kind of talk about how they keep using these images through here. But they left out in the other book that these images are of boys and girls of about 3 years old. And when I wonder what you mean by you kept images. And they call those images by one word in Hamari. And we're gonna keep going, but and maybe some of y'all will figure this out. And I'm gonna look down here in a second. Let me see what's saying. To be honest, made all circles, man. Made squares. Let me see what y'all think. She said peace. She made it peace. I'm a little congested, my bad, but hopefully it'll go away. I ain't sick of shit. I just, I think it's just I said I was gonna turn the damn AC on, never did. That's really what I think it is, to be honest. Let me turn this bitch on. All right. Okay. So, well, let's just see. It says, in these images, their gods are thought to dwell. In the images, my bad, I'm smacking. In the images of 3-year-old, I'm thinking about it because kids are innocent. It's like a godlike state to a degree. You're kind of like controlled by your god like self in a sense. Like, man, if I could, I can't remember. I wish I could say it, but I read and I got to redo it. Rudolf Steiner, he talks about the different stages from 0 to 7. There's a certain stage of life, and you're controlled by a certain. It's almost like you're on like autopilot, but you're not necessarily. Especially the closer you get towards 7, you're coming up out of it. But in your first few years, you're just kind of on autopilot, being controlled by your impulses. Just like your direct guide impulses is just like, well, I want to do this, I want to see this, I want to, whatever. So I'm just kind of just trying to decipher like what the hell they're talking about with these images, because especially knowing that the other book didn't even say that about the images. But it says, in the gods they dwell. Twice each year, at fixed seasons, they sow and reap their crops. And when the harvest begins to prosper, they celebrate it with hymns and prayers of thanksgiving that the crops may ripen well and yield abundance. When they have gathered the fruits, and I'm also wondering, what do they mean by images of boys and girls? Photographs? Chiseled drawings? Thoughts of images? Like, I'm really curious about that still. But anyway, when they have gathered the fruits, they again offer thanks. And if the season has been unfavorable, they pray that it may be better next time and that the next year may be prosperous. When the solemn feasts arrive, there is a great gathering of the people who bring forth the images with songs and dance. They bring forth the images with songs and dance. So is the images thoughts? And when they say they bring forth the images with songs and dance, they're singing about them while dancing like an interpretive dance of the images. Let's keep going. At night during the festival, the king himself lies in a large chamber adorned with flowers and images. So he's lying in a chamber adorned with flowers and images. What type of images? I'm really curious. Paintings? Well, let's keep going. And sleeps there as a sanctuary of the gods. At dawn, the people assemble in multitudes. The king himself, clad in his royal robes, comes forth bearing the images on his breast. So the images are small enough to fit on your breast, and this also makes it seem like the images are external, not internal, so not just thoughts, right? So are they pictures? Are they small frame thing? I don't know what's going on here. I still don't. At dawn, what about I did that? They are shown to the people. So the images are shown to the people who shout aloud with trembling voices, kneeling and prostrating themselves. Uh, Prostrating themselves? What does prostrating mean? I feel like I know, but lying stretched out on the ground with one face downward. Okay, like they're praying on their knees, singing praises and blessings. Then the king returns the images to their places. The next day they are again displayed, and women adorned with garlands sing hymns and songs. They dance and leap in circles, clapping their hands and stamping the ground. They continue their rejoicing for 50 days, during which all labor is suspended. Anyone who neglects the ceremony is punished, or at least regarded as irreligious during this time. All the men attend at night and the women by day, giving signs of joy and devotion. Almost like a month long revival. And if you ain't there, they looking at you bad sideways. Oh nigga, you ain't going to the revival for 50 days? I ain't going to the goddamn revival. I'm not going to that big. Well, okay. When the festival is ended, they carry the images back to the palace in a solemn procession and give thanks with tears and supplications, believing that their prayers might have been heard and that the gods will grant them peace or victory as they desire. Each family who keeps a small wooden idol in their home fixed upon a post in the ground before they offer daily prayers and burn small fires of herbs. Well, shit, let me get another page if y'all still sticking around. Fuck it. What are these images? Anybody got any ideas? Let me look down here and see what y'all say. Anybody got any ideas what the hell what y'all think them images are? Fast for 30 days to detox the body. I need to do that my damn self, to be honest. Just say open the panel. I think about it. Let's see. Two man all circles and man-made squares. Yep. Let's see what they talk about on this next one. What's this? Hold on. Okay, let's see. Oh, they talk about the antipods. Okay. That's crazy. I can read some of this shit. You know, after you be looking at some of these damn books so many times from these different languages, you start to pick up on some of the stuff it's saying. I'm still not gonna sit there and read a whole goddamn book without translating that bit. That's pointless as fuck. And at this point, I'm never gonna learn a goddamn language in my life. I'm already in my 40s anyway. You translate that bitch on something. Shit, I know every language in the world at this point. Nigga, with my Chat GPT subscription, nigga, I'm a linguistic expert, nigga. Drop the book in my G. You talking about the book that I'm reading right now? You can get a screenshot of that right there. That is the book right there. You gotta get the one from 1530. If it ain't from 1530, it's some bullshit. They done took the black niggas out and everything. All right, I'm about to get back on it. I'm telling y'all, man, look. I got these things for the first time. And I don't even like goddamn coconuts like that, but when you roast them bitches, I don't know what to do. But this motherfucker, these things go so goddamn hard. Oh. I don't even know what made me pick them up. Okay. Let's see if it's done. Yep. Okay. Let's see what else they talking about. Cause they really haven't talked about what King Datha looked like, but they talked about the Chicorians looking like some damn fair-skinned people. Raised Mount of Earth right there. Okay, let's see. When the solemn festival is held, they place a wooden statue in the open field, standing on a beam fixed into the ground, and around it they set up smaller figures fastened to the front beam. To this image, the people bring offerings. So I'm assuming images now are statues or even mini statues that can fit on the side on your breast, in a sense, on your chest. But I'm assuming that now from that statement. But to this image, the people bring offerings, each according to his means: coins, fruits, foods, or other gifts, giving them freely. They offer these to the priests, who distribute them among the poor and the widows, as among us our priests offer cakes or other sacrifices. Whoever brings the richest gifts is honored in the assembly. Messengers stand by to receive the offerings and to proclaim the name of those who gave them. Fired by ambition, the neighboring towns compete in generosity, striving to outdo each other. At sunset and dawn, they throw the images into the sea. If they live near the coast, or if inland into a river, or lacking either, they bury it in the earth. Thus they renew the image yearly. Third day is appointed for the burial of the dead, on which, after washing the body and dressing it in fresh garments, they lay it on a couch of woven reeds and cover it with flowers. A little further on, they raise a mound of earth surrounded with stakes, and on top they set the symbol of the soul, represented by as a butterfly. This effigy is left there for a time. And it's like, look, these are the mound builders, right there, still in the 1500s. And they would, when they unearth these mounds, they be like, they found an effigy. And here you see it in the book. They talking about they just now, they putting it in there. I don't know where the mail builders went. Yeah, you do. Okay. On the second day, they gather again for the funeral, and after placing the body in its tomb, the priest deliver a long oration in praise of the dead, speaking of their virtues and their immortality, and explaining to the people the destiny of their soul. They believe that at death, the souls would first go to cold and cloudy regions under the rule of the spirit they call Matekzunge. Huh. And then, freed from the shadowy power, they travel to warmer and brighter lands ruled by another spirit, Kweyuga, something like that, where they enjoy eternal delights. The company of maidens dancing and singing among flowers. The age there as rejuvenated, the feeble grow strong, and all live again in joy and laughter. This they believe of all who have lived well, but the wicked and cruel are cast down into the abyss. There are suffered torments, and they are said never to return. Hence, their funerals are full of songs and tears, not in despair, but in reverence, for they think that the good ascend to heaven and live among the stars, while the wicked perish. They believe that human souls are fiery sparks, escaping from the body like flashes of lightning of the glow of embers. The Capre whatever dancers leaping at the funeral pyres whatever uh imitate the rising of the soul. They whirl in circles through the air, raising flames with a great noise and then extinguishing them suddenly, saying that this thus the spirit has ascended. They cry aloud, it has flown. It's per volita, something like that. And weeping and singing, they carry the body to burial. If the deceased has died naturally, they mourn him moderately. I'm seeing if anything interesting from this bitch. To eat modestly, delight in the fruits of herbs and roots. They live without excess, content with life, and their bodies remain strong and supple. Their climate is gentle, and the air is pure, and they rarely get sick, and they cure the wounds, fevers easily with juices of herbs. They also strangers of avarice and deceit, and the lands, and we've always been the ones to cure things with herbs, man, and shit like that. That's why, man, if I ever have anything happen to me, I'm gonna go to our people and talk to a damn herbalist. Okay. All right, y'all, man. Well, I'm gonna end up getting off of here. I done it's done. Got past the pages. I might do like 5 or 6 more pages after that from that section on another day, probably tomorrow. But like, I really, I don't know. I'm thinking in my head like, where do I go from here on the ancient part of it? And there's a few other explorers that have been mentioned on some other things that I didn't know had hit that area that I know I need to look into as well. So either way, I'm getting this shit done for the documentary, for the people, and whatever. So I appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all staying in. I'm gonna get off here because my damn congestion is killing me. But y'all enjoy y'all night.